I'm Cal Flyn. I'm a non-fiction writer, and this year I'm one of the judges with two others of the Giles and Aubyn Awards, which you have applied for. Myself and the other judges, we've been extremely impressed with your application. Your book, it seems to us to be a very important and arresting work that shines a light on a very shocking story. We feel that it deserves a very wide audience, and it's based on intensive research, it's time-consuming research, obviously, that you're doing at the moment, and the remarkable personal stories at the heart of these narratives feels crucial in bringing this issue from the academic, even the journalistic, out to that broader audience in the form of a non-fiction book. And the way that these stories reflect desperation, hardship, but also an incredible resilience and determination among the subjects of your book. We find that these stories to be very moving, and we want to support your work. And so for these reasons, we've decided to award you the largest of the financial awards of £10,000 to assist you in your work. We hope this will allow you time to process your experiences, to translate your time in the field onto the page in the most evocative, compelling way possible, and in that way reach the largest possible audience that it can. So congratulations.
Well, thanks a million. No, that means a lot. But yeah, everything you're saying is exactly what I want to do. So obviously, I came from an academic background, but it concerns. I wanted people to know what was happening, to reach a wider audience. So yeah, I hope with this, more people will read, more people will relate to the stories, and become more aware of this issue. How it works, and it's hard to say this maybe in 5 minutes, but there's different levels of brokerage involved. So there's some brokers involved in local recruitment, and they mostly target asylum seekers and refugees, but particularly people with undocumented status, because it's illegal to sell a kidney, for one thing, and then if you're undocumented or considered illegal, you're less likely to report abuse. Plus, the brokers can negotiate down the price that they offer as much as possible. So they target people who are vulnerable and in a desperate position. And then you have other brokers who work directly with hospitals, and they help source organs for donation. And in most countries in the world, there's an idea that we're going to have an altruistic system, but there's not always a reciprocal system in place. And without a reciprocal organ sharing system where you can access transplants through public health, I think commercialism is inevitable. So that's part of the issue too. So I'll go into the transplant industry and some of the systemic issues behind the organ trade as well in the book. But yeah, this is wonderful to get this award. I'm taken back a little bit. I didn't realize what it was for. But it will allow me to do a bit more work. I want to go to Uganda and also to Nigeria. A lot of the people that I spoke to in Sudan last year, so when I was doing research at the time, and then the conflict broke out. But the reason I was there is that I know a lot of people were being recruited directly from Khartoum, being brought to Cairo for organ removal. And there was a broker working in Khartoum that was connected to smugglers in Libya. So they were passing on information. So they're not part of one organized crime group, but they're different intermediaries that are basically profiting from the immobility of migrants. And yes, I wanted to go to Sudan to find out a little bit more about that. I actually did. I interviewed a broker while I was in Khartoum, but then the conflict started, and then I needed to leave. But a lot of people that in that short time I was in Sudan, maybe I was there for just over 3 weeks last year, but yeah, I made some very, very strong connections, and I want to follow up with people that I met there in Uganda. But yeah, unfortunately, I've heard terrible things since. So I know a lot of people have moved on to Egypt. A lot of people have moved on to Uganda. There's complete lack of faith and trust and disillusionment with the UNHCR. And it's not directly connected, but people are selling organs as an economic option of last resort. So a lot of people see this as a way, or this is how it's being sold to them as well by brokers and by... there's some issues with some NGOs involved too, in terms of some people working in certain NGOs where identifying people who might consider selling a kidney for whatever reason. So yeah, this will give me a lot more scope and time to go out and do a little bit more investigation, or investigative work, which I think is important.
Well, listen, we really wish you all the best for it. We hope that this story is one that reaches as many people as possible, as I say, and that the people at the heart of this story have the opportunity to be heard on an international stage. So we thank you so much for the work that you're doing and for making an application.
Oh, thanks a million. I really appreciate it.
No problem at all. Well, that was wonderful.